Hey everybody, welcome back. I am Lynn and I appreciate you taking the time today out of your busy day to watch my video and come visit my channel. Today I want to do a few pantry stable mixes. I'm going to do shake and bake. I'm going to do pancake mix for my grandson's pancakes that I make. I want to do my husband loves sweet and smoky or smoky and sweet rub. I want to make some of that and some bourbon and brown sugar rub also. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to get started on the shake and bake. So what I do when I... that is my grand pup tapping on the floor that you hear. But you can have any kind of breadcrumbs. Well, I make my own. I use bread that's, you know, not molded or anything, but it's just not as fresh anymore. And I put it in the oven on my little cookie sheet, dry it out, cut it into cubes, and that way I have ready-made croutons or, you know, any kind of square bread that I need, or I can smush them and get me some breadcrumbs. But anyway, so I went ahead and I got my my croutons, my bread dices out of the freezer and used actually I used my quart-sized mason jar to smash them. I have a rolling pin. I just don't know where it's at right this moment. It's been a very long day. I went ahead and went with my daughter-in-law shopping, and when I came back, I realized I have to do the greenhouse at noon in the heat of the day, and it was so hot. And then after I did that, I had to mow the grass. I don't have to, okay? I love mowing my grass. We have about, I want to say 4 acres cleared that I mow. And I use a riding mower, of course, because I'm not about to push 4 acres by hand. Back when we lived in town at the house we lost to a house fire, that was a 1/4 acre. And the front yard, now this is a postage stamp size place. The front yard took me 30 minutes. The backyard, probably half that, because we had our bulldog out in our backyard with the 8-foot fence. So he kept most of the grass down. But it's still, I would cut it, you know, especially with the areas he didn't like to run around in. But anyway, so after I got finished mowing the grass, I was tired. I was whipped. I was like, man, I wanted to do these things today. And then I rested so long. I was like, I've got to go take a shower. So after my shower, just got everything ready, and I was like, oh, well, it's time to eat. So I had to eat. My husband and I had to eat. So I'm a little late getting this started. As you can see, I had to use an extra light because, I mean, I prefer natural daylight when I do my videos. But, you know, we can't always have what we want. Especially when you had a busy day and then you got lazy afterwards. So anyway, a cup of breadcrumbs. All right. Probably should get my my funnel for this, but I want to save my funnel for later stuff. All right. A cup of, oh, it smells so good. And it's just plain toasted bread, but it smells so good. All right. Got my Italian seasoning here. Oh, there we go. All right. I'm blind. Can we say that? I'm blind as a bat. All right. Oh, well, let me do. All right. half a tablespoon of garlic powder. I'm not even going to cap that because I need that for another recipe, so I'm not worried about that. Alright, and I need a teaspoon of onion powder. Ooh. Yeah, I know these are bought spices, and when I have things I can use that doesn't have to be bought, I do. Like right now, I have off camera, I have my sage drying out. I have a dehydrator that I could use, but yeah. And I have, I don't know if you can see them, but on top of my vanilla over there, I have, sage, no, not, yeah, sage and basil from last season. Alright, so I need some pepper. Right, half a teaspoon of pepper. You're going to need that in a minute too, so I'm going to leave that alone. Sea salt. Need half a teaspoon of it. You know what? And sorry, I don't live up close enough to the ocean to get me some fresh sea salt. I would love to, though. I watched a video years and years ago about how this guy did his own sea salt. I thought it was very cool. And oops, I could do it if I lived close to close to the ocean, which I don't. All right, 1 teaspoon of paprika. And half teaspoon of oregano. And I have oregano growing, but if you've ever grown oregano, you know it's very slow to start. I mean, it pops up nice and pretty, and it's just these itty bitty bitty little things, but then it stalls. I don't have anything else I need oregano for, so I can put that back in there. But anyway, I'm hoping my volume is enough. I want to test out not wearing my microphone because my son is having to jack my sound up so high that it's redonkulous. And that little lapel mic from Amazon got the best ratings across the tech boards because I researched it before I even did it. And sure enough, it was crazy. He has to jack the decibels up really high. Alright, so on Italian seasoning. Alright, I'm making, I forgot to tell you what kind of shake and bake. My favorite, my husband's, well, basically the whole family, we love Parmesan shake and bake. So I'm going to use a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. All right. That way it gets all that good flavors in there. I don't think I need Italian seasoning for anything anymore either. All right. So now I'm going to use Parmesan cheese, the grated kind. This is shelf stable as long as it's vacuum packed. And I am going to vacuum pack these. This is about, I want to say maybe 4 good things of shake and bake, you know, so I can use it for 4 meals. And in between times, I will reseal them with my, because I have a little manual vacuum pump. And I will reseal them, trust me. Because I'm not taking chances. So as long as I reseal them, this Parmesan, it won't be a problem. And I happen to like a lot of Parmesan. So what I'm going to do, since I'm using a tablespoon scoop, stinky cheese. I love the way it tastes, don't like the way it smells. Can't stand the way it smells. And I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of that. Now, you know what? I want it to taste like Parmesan. So I'm going to use 3 tablespoons. I need to make a note to myself that I used 3. Because that way I can decide this time, well, I don't know. Maybe I need to go a little less. Alright. Where's my... I'll put this on here so that I can shake it all up real good. And then I will... vacuum seal it. Because you really don't want to play with it when you have that cheese in there. Which, breadcrumbs, you want to make sure they're in an airtight container anyway. And when you vacuum seal it, it extends it a lot longer. Now, trust me, this won't last long in my house as far as being used, but it'll go quick. Because while I do love fried chicken, I love some fried chicken, but it's healthier to do shake and bake. And so I try to do as healthy as I can. That came around when our sons were really young. I wanted to make sure that we were doing everything that we could for things to be as healthy as they could for them. See, I got my little vacuum pump. Oops. Alright. Pop this puppy on. Ah, I heard it pop. Ooh, there we go. Alright, I'm going to test it. Alright, so my center popped down. And it's not coming off. So, there is my Parmesan breadcrumbs for shake and bake. And I don't have a pen, I don't have a Sharpie on me right now, or I would put the date on it, but I will off camera later before I go to put everything up. Okay. So, I want to do the pancakes, but let me go ahead and do the other. This is the sweet and smoky rub that I'm going to make now. All right. Now, just to let you know, brown sugar. If you don't want it clumping up and not mixing well, or just basically being too moist in your rubs, if you're going to try to make them shelf stable, go ahead, take 2 cups of brown sugar, put them on a cookie sheet. Well, I do mine I did it on the tin foil on a cookie sheet. Easy cleanup. That's the way to go. But anyway, 2 cups of brown sugar on the cookie sheet. Preheat the oven to 200 degrees. Let it cook in there for about 15 minutes. And then when it comes out, it's going to be all dry. So you got to crumble it up. You could probably use a food processor. Me and my handy dandy mason jar did it again. I crumbled it up. And it's nice and dry, and I don't have to worry about it clumping up on me. I mean, just nice and dry. And it don't stick to your fingers and all that good stuff. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a cup of this. So I use my cup here that I have for the, ooh, that's gonna make a mess. That's okay. I am the world's worst when I'm pouring something. I just make a big mess. All right. Woo. Oh, I missed some when I was crumpling all my... I missed them. But you know, when you're trying to, when you're trying to do it that way, it's not very hard to miss some. Okay. Well, that's not going to work. I was trying to do it in this little bitty jar. But I think I'm going to have to get a pint jar. Be right back. Okay. I wasn't thinking about the fact that I was doing a big size. So what I'll do is do that. Whoo! Getting it everywhere now. All right. So. That way I don't have to clean it up off the floor later. All right. I ain't making a mess. I'm making a big mess. All right. So, put that over there. All right. I need 2 tablespoons of paprika. If I have enough. Try to get it level, but it doesn't always go that way. Especially when you're pouring. Oops. Well, good thing I have paprika on the grocery list. Because I just wiped that out. You know what? I will not be able to do the bourbon and brown sugar recipe because I needed paprika, I believe. Dang it. Sometimes I just aggravate myself. Alright, so now I need some sea salt. I need 2 tablespoons of it. Some people used flaked sea salt. I don't have any, so I'm just using my fine sea salt, which is, it's okay. It's just fine. Alright, so. And then I need, okay. Need a tablespoon of garlic powder. And I don't mind a little extra. 1 tablespoon of chili powder. I got this from Sam's. Because when I do my freezer meals, I tend to use chili powder a lot. Now, my daughter-in-law is growing some chilies so that she can dry some for us this year. And I'll be able to have my own ground chili powder. So, I hope. Alright, let's see here. Teaspoon of black pepper. And I had peppercorn, so I could grind my own. I just don't have a grinder. Yeah. That's bad, huh? Alright, and now a teaspoon of onion powder. Smells good. Now, I am very sensitive to heat, to spice, so I don't add red pepper flakes. You can if you like a little bit of heat with your sweet and smoky. I can't. I'm a wimp. Yep. I am a wimp. Alright. So, isn't that pretty? Alright, we're going to shake it all up and get it all wound up. I could have saved that for off camera. Sorry about that. But, alright. Now, again, because I do have some sweet and smoky rub in my cabinet right now. But I'm getting low, so that's why I wanted to go ahead and get this made. But I want it to last as long as it can. So I'm going to vacuum seal it. So when it starts getting harder to pull up, you know it's sealing. Plus you can hear it. All right. And see? Nope, that didn't seal. All right, so that lid, you see, a lot of times you can reuse your canning lids that aren't good for canning anymore after you've used them. Typically, you can reuse it for dry storage, but that one's not working, so that must have been damaged. So let me grab another one that is unused. Put it on there. Put this back on. And do it again. All right. I still hear it making that noise. See, it's not sealing. All right. I will problem solve that in a minute. But for now, I will put it with the lid on it and put the ring on it. See, I didn't have to do that with my shake and bake. But, hey, I'm glad that's sealed and it didn't give me any trouble. Usually, that's not going to happen, but I got it. It might be something because I didn't wipe the lid. I didn't wipe the ring of the jar, so it could have had some on it. And that's totally my fault. That's totally my fault. Be right back. Okay. I checked to see if I had any more paprika. And I don't. Then I feel like an idiot because I don't need it. Did I tell y'all it's been a long day? It's been a long day. It's been a super duper long day. Alright, so. Now. Bourbon and brown sugar. That's what I'm doing. See if we can get my brain working. All right. So, I'm going to do Probably going to double it. So let's start off with our brown sugar. It's going to be 2 tablespoons. Okay. Let's see, salt. All right, 1 tablespoon of sea salt. If you have table salt, you can do table salt just as well. Oops, dadnabbit. Well, good thing I washed my table right before I did this. All right. Now. Oops. All right. So, now we need dried mustard, ground mustard. I just got this today because I knew I didn't have any more. Okay. Technically, I do have it. I have mustard seeds for when I'm doing my pickles. And usually that works. I mean, I can sit there and... I thought about it. I really did. I even debated. I was like, can't I just use my mortar and pestle, you know, to put that over there, to, you know, grind it, and I could have, but I'm a very tired turkey today, and I totally cheated, and, you know, I won't always do that. You know, I do have the mustard seeds, so I can grind them with my mortar and pestle. Because now, like when I had, okay, ground mustard, dry ground mustard, sorry. You need a teaspoon and a half. And I will make sure that I put all of this down in the description below. And you can pick and choose, or you can do all of them. All right. Now, I need to do, poo. All right, I will do that in a minute. Don't let me forget. I gotta get my thyme out of the cabinet. God. Maybe I shouldn't have done this video tonight. I can't think straight. All right, so I need ground ginger, and I believe I need half a teaspoon. No, I need a whole teaspoon of this. All right. Teaspoon of ground ginger. Oh, goodness. Yep, that's what that is. I have to smell the lid. All right. I need a half teaspoon of cinnamon. I can't tell y'all how good this table smells in here right now. It's just heaven. All right. So, remember I was saying that I have a very sensitive stomach? This calls for a half teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon. Just so that it has some of the cayenne flavor. And, I mean, it's going to be... Wait a minute. I said I was going to double this. And I doubled my brown sugar. So I need to go back in. Yeah. Alright, I'm not adding any more cayenne pepper. I'm not. Alright, so let me go back in and do a tablespoon of salt. Let's see. I gotta open my mustard again. So I need another teaspoon and a half of this. Boy, what a day. That's okay. At least y'all know I'm human. At least you know I'm human and I make mistakes. Alright. I do still need to get my thyme out of the cabinet up there. Because usually I just have my Italian seasoning. And I don't think that would go over well in the bourbon and brown sugar. I don't know. I don't know. But we're not going to try it because you don't want to mess up a good thing. Right? Alright. Another teaspoon of ground ginger. And you're definitely going to have to do the bottom down in the description because I messed everything up and I'm sorry. Alright. Another half teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And let me reach behind me and grab my thyme. Alright. So, 1.5 teaspoon of thyme, which is 3, and that's a tablespoon, so add a tablespoon of that. Alright, I'll get up and put that up in a minute. I'm not worried about that. Alright, so I'm not going to try to seal this one because we need it pretty soon. I think. Now, he might have enough of this. But until I figure out what's going on with that, I'm not going to worry about sealing it. But there, I have my bourbon and brown sugar. Well, not mine. I have it for my husband. Alright, put these over here to the side. I'm done with those. Alright. Now, this is pancake mix where I make for my grandson. Now, I tend to, this will be one batch and it'll make about 20 pancakes. But I do a little bit bigger than dollar size. So, I mean, yeah, 2 or 3 inch round. And I do that, I make those and then I freeze them for him. That way his mom, when she's tired and don't want to have to do anything first thing in the morning, she can just thaw it, take it out, pop it in the microwave, and he's got his breakfast. Because at one point she was buying frozen pancakes, and I was like, no, don't do that. And I know you're not supposed to do it this way. But as long as you sit there and you get it good and even, you're good to go. But usually I'll weigh it on my scale. You know what? I'm going to do that. Let me grab my scale. All right. Let's see. Let me see if I can do math. 3 cups. I'm wanting to say it's, I don't have my phone in here with me. I think 1.5 cups is 195 grams. So let's find out. All right. Yeah. So 195 and 195. All right. So 380 is 190, so it's 390, right? See, I always do that because I had extra left. So it's not quite, it is 3 cups, but depending on how dense it is packed in your thing, you want to make sure you're very careful with that. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and put that there so I have somewhere to put it. Let me wipe these little things off. All right. So I need 2 tablespoons of sugar. And this I do measured, you know, I don't weigh yet. I normally do, but I never really have for his pancakes, and they come out beautiful, so I'm not worried about that. Flour, yes. Sugar, not so much. Alright, so I need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And half a teaspoon of sea salt. Now, this is a matter of personal preference. I always use unsalted. I have salted and unsalted butter, but I typically use unsalted butter for these pancakes. For most of the stuff that I bake. Because a lot of recipes call for unsalted butter and salt. But if you want to use salted butter, you can eliminate the sea salt. Or if you are sensitive, or you can use table salt. But if you're sensitive to high levels of salt, you can do like a 1/4 teaspoon. You know, you can adjust this to your taste and your preferences. All right. So I'm going to use that. Usually I do this with a fork or a whisk, but I don't know if I can get back up. My legs are tired today. So anyway, getting all this nice and mixed. And see, I prefer to do this in a bowl for something this big, especially when you're dealing with flour. And then I'm going to very carefully. I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to do it this way. That way I don't make a teetotal mess. So, now when you want to use this, dump this whole jar back in the back in a bowl. Or if you want to double this recipe or triple this recipe, you can use 3½ cups of the mix. But until I get me some gallon size canning jars, I'm going to be using my little quart size, and it barely holds. Which technically, this is two, it's the double recipe, but it's just the amount I use, so I think of it as a single recipe, but it technically is a double recipe. And it's the perfect size for him. Like I said, it makes 20 pancakes. And, ooh. So he normally gets at least 19, because I got to test it, right? I can't have my grandbaby eating nasty pancakes from Grandma. But anyway, see, I thought to do this way. Sorry about this. I have to add this clip into the video. Because when I was telling you about the pancake mix, I got so distracted about the fact that I said this is basically one thing of pancakes. But if you do use a bigger container, use 3.5 cups of the dry mix. But I forgot to tell you the wet ingredients. I'm a bright girl. And it's been a very long day. So, for your wet ingredients, you need... Okay. The original recipe calls for 3 cups. If you double it, it would be 3 cups of milk. No. 2.5 cups of milk. But the very first time I made this recipe, it was way too runny. You couldn't make a pancake with it. So I scratched that whole batch, and because the very next mixture, I went ahead and poured the 2.5 cups of milk, but I held back. I put in 1.5 cups, I believe, and mixed it all up, and it was too thick, so I added a little more, and I eventually got up to roughly about 2 cups, and that was the perfect consistency. So you can go ahead and pour the 2.5 cups, because the thing about different flours absorb moisture differently. This right here is for my grandbaby's pancakes. I just use all-purpose flour. And for my sourdough and all that, I use bread flour. But for his pancakes, I just use all-purpose flour. And apparently it doesn't need as much moisture. But anyway, so your mild may vary. The recipe originally called for 2.5 cups. In the description below, I will put 2 cups because that's what mine uses, and I'm just used to that. 2 large eggs, and 1 stick of the unsalted butter, which is 6 teaspoons. You need to melt that in the microwave, let it cool for a little bit. Let it be sitting there on the counter cooling while you get everything together. And that way it doesn't try to cook the eggs. And let's see. With my homemade vanilla, I use 2 teaspoons, but I love, which the original recipe called for a teaspoon, so you can use 2 teaspoons. I tend to do 2, maybe 3 teaspoons because, like I said, I love my homemade vanilla, and it just depends on how much you like the vanilla taste. Your miles may vary on that one too. So if you won't, just go ahead and season vanilla to taste. Sorry. And usually it's, like I said, when the last time it was about, 2.5, maybe 3-inch. Dollar size are perfect. But if you'll notice with that baking powder, you can get thick, fluffy pancakes. So that's why I didn't mind them going a little bit bigger. I used a cookie dough scooper. And I think that one was a 2 teaspoon, maybe? I can't remember. I know I have a 1 teaspoon scoop around here somewhere, but like I said, as thick as they are. Sorry, as thick as they are, I kind of like the fact that they do spread a little bit. And he typically, his mom tells me he eats 2 of those at a sitting, so that's a good size. I'll stick with that. But anyway, sorry about goofing up and having to come back in and add this clip. But back to the video. I'm gonna go ahead and try the vacuum seal again. I don't really need to. I'll probably be cooking this week. But I wanted to go ahead and get it made ahead of time. That way I don't have to worry about it. I don't know if you can see. As it vacuums it, that flour's being pulled up. It's easier for me to do this standing up, but see, I didn't hear it pop, so I don't know if it sealed it or not. Nope. See? See? I don't know what's going on. But if something like this happens and you can't get your jars to seal, and you're not going to use it right away, you can always, here, let me stand up. I can't hardly do anything sitting down, and I know I'm probably way off camera now, but see, it's getting hard. There we go. I had it popped in. Alright. Let's see. Hopefully I'm on camera. I have no clue. There we go. That popped. Alright. That is sealed. See? I don't know if you can see. I'm holding it by, well, see? I'm holding it just by that lid. So that's sealed. Now I can go back and seal my rubs and my 2 rubs. Just in case, because I don't remember how much I have in the cabinet. I'm drawing a blank at the moment. But anyway, now I have a fine mess to clean up on my table. That's okay. Creativity and cooking always makes messes, and that just means it's going to be that much better to eat. But I hope you've enjoyed today. If you have, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. And usually it's a little bit better lighting, but I ran out of time and daylight today, so I had to use artificial light. But I hope to see you again. You have a great evening. Actually, this is going to be loading in the morning, so you have a great day. Bye, y'all.